Broadcasting live from the Vegas Video Network studios, just steps from the Las Vegas Strip, it's Talktails! And now our host, she's our very own kaleidoscope of talent. What? It's Kelly Clinton!
Wow, what a crowd, what a crowd. We have a full studio audience for Talktails today on the Vegas Video Network. I am your host. I am in purple. That's how you know it's me. My name is Kelly Clinton Holmes. How are you, live audience and the folks at home? Thank you. Can you feel the energy in the room? Seriously. Well, I can feel it. I can feel it. Everyone talk except for that guy right over there. I can feel the energy because we have one of the greatest entertainers in the world here today. He is a high energy, dynamic entertainer. We have people trying to steal the spotlight from this guy, even as we speak. He is a very well-known entertainer here in Las Vegas and travels all over the world. He's funky. He's in a good way, by the way. He's a funky soul man. He can do any kind of music, and he kills the audiences. And of course, I don't mean literally. Earl Turner is here in the studio today. The great Earl Turner. I'm so excited. Maybe I'll get to do a number with him. I think I heard him say, "Not a chance," in the background. Anyway, before we meet Earl Turner, I want you to meet some of the people that are a big part of Talktails' show. Say hello to our Talktails Orchestra. Kenny Davidson and James Davis is here today as his guests. Yeah, baby. You getting your Earl on? Get your Earl on, baby. And I also want you to meet our producer, director, Mr. Scott Whitney is in the house. Hi, Scott.
Hello. Konnichiwa.
Scott, it seems like forever since I saw you last. I'm sure you want to catch up. Did you miss me?
Yes.
I missed you too.
I'm embarrassed that I'm wearing the same outfit as last week.
Oh, no. It's actually 2 weeks ago. But anyway,
2 weeks ago.
Technically, it's 2 weeks ago.
You know
Scott,
what? I've invited you to my network to be nice to me.
Oh, no, I'm absolutely, it's a tribute. It's a tribute. Okay, if it makes you feel any better, I now, since the last show, am an older woman.
I don't think so.
No, I am. I had a birthday, and...
How old are you?
For those of you who are only listening on the radio, I am putting my hands out to choke him.
That's
you can't ask a lady how old she is.
Right.
You're no lady. You're Kelly Clinton Holmes.
Right.
But anyway, I'm in my...
Can I guess?
No. No, because then I'm going to have to take the microphone off and come over there. All right, I'll tell you what to guess.
I would have guessed 31.
Boy, he's good, isn't he? Anyway, let me tell you about the rest of my week.
Okay.
Yeah, being 31 and all, I've been traveling. I got to go to New York again.
Oh.
It's like my second home. And I don't know if you're, have you been to any Broadway shows, Scott?
Not in New York.
Not in New York?
I have here at the Smith Center.
I know Broadway came to Vegas.
Yeah.
But you enjoy, right? You enjoy the arts.
Well, I do. By the way, did you see Wicked?
Well,
Ooh.
I didn't see Wicked, but my husband brought our granddaughter and his daughter to see Wicked, and I've seen it in New York.
Jeez.
So I do know the show, and
Amazing.
I just hear raves about it.
Oh.
There is a show that we can never take our granddaughter to because the name of the show is actually, well, in New York they call it Cockfight.
Oh.
But the real name of the show is only half of that title, but they can't advertise it that way.
Tell me it's Fight.
Nope, it's not called Fight.
Okay. You sure?
And it's not really about a cockfight.
Okay.
And it's not really about a focker. Oh! That's F-O-C-K that I just said. Oh,
Yep.
That reminds me of, I'm not the fig plucker or the fig plucker stunned, but I'll pluck
for
figs
God's sake,
till
don't
the
scare
fig
me.
plucker comes. Anyway, it's a great show, and they kind of set it up in the round, and it's like a cockfight, but it's really just a drama. It's 4 people, and it's their story, and it's really a beautiful thing, but they kind of come out. First of all, there's a lot of wood involved, but it's actually the set. It's built with wood in the round, and they come out almost like they're going to fight like a cockfight, but then they just start their scene and say, really, is that what, and they kind of have their chins out like a cockfight, but it's not. But it was fascinating, and I'll never forget it, and I'll tell you more about it if I get to be back on the show again after that little faux pas. That was really close. But anyway, technically that was, anyway, OCK is what I said. So, now, on the show again, let's not talk about me or the cockfight, because today we are not, it's not going to be a cockfight. It's going to be a lovely conversation with a great entertainer named Earl Turner. How excited are we, live audience, that he's here? We will be right back with Talktails with Mr. Earl Turner.
You know, one of the things I like best about the Vegas Video Network are the people. There are no divas here. Everyone is exactly the same off camera as they are on.
Hey guys, what's cocktail of the week this week?
You know what? I'll let you know what it is when it's time for you to know what it is. Why don't you get off the stage and get back in your production hole? Oh my God. You know what? And tell cheap-ass Whitney to get us some decent brand liquor. This hobo off-rap crap ain't cutting it. God, idiots.
Totally.
Kenny Davidson and James Davis, you sound great. Welcome back to Talktails. I'm so excited my special guest is here. He's a musical dynamo. He's got a website. You can check them all out. Please welcome the dynamic Earl Turner. Earl Turner! Earl Turner, thank you so much. It's so good to see you. Can you see me?
Yes, I can. Yes.
What's going on?
Actually, I have something.
Wait.
Now, before I say this, let me say to you that, first of all, I can't believe you got away with the whole cockfight thing.
Well, it's the show.
Well, yeah, and I get that. But then you did the whole tongue twister thing, which you actually got through. And then the whole show, it seems, is about suggestive. You know, it's kind of suggestive. You talked about wood, and I don't know what that has to do.
Plywood.
Plywood. Oh, okay.
Yes, plywood.
Anyway, I have floppy eyelid syndrome.
You know what?
Care to elaborate?
Well, seriously, folks, I think it's very rude that you laughed. This is a very serious situation. I mean,
it is.
Earl was, I think what happened was he was singing, and he was so into it that his eye exploded a blood vessel, right?
Actually, yes. That's
is that how it happened?
Yeah, let's go with that.
I don't know if you want to.
No, I went to the doctor. Yeah. I had a ruptured blood vessel in my eye, and my eye is a totally different. Actually, I look like a zombie, which I really
do. You?
I really like zombies, but that's a whole nother thing. So anyway,
another side of Earl Turner.
Seriously, the doctor says to me, "I think that you have floppy eyelid syndrome." And
did that scare you?
I said, "Okay, yeah." So show me that, and he actually whipped out his medical book and he showed me floppy eyelid syndrome, which means that I can actually invert my eyelid, or it can be inverted very easily.
Now this could be an even better show than I thought.
You know, so at any rate, my eye is not really pretty right now, so I'm actually doing the kind of Ray Charles, Stevie Wonder, you know, kind of thing right now.
Thank you for coming here anyway, because, I mean, you could have said, no, man, well, first of all, you could have said, I got to look cool, but you look cool anyway, don't you?
Well, you know, your husband ambushed me.
Clint Holmes?
Clint Holmes. Yeah, that guy.
He ambushed?
Yeah, he ambushed me and said, you know, you should come with your floppy eye and do Kelly's show.
Floppy eye. You could have a show in New York too, right?
And that's right.
And after a cockfight closes, we have
floppy eye. So
floppy eye. Okay.
There's a lot of things that could be floppy, but you know, I didn't know that the.
Is your wife here today?
Did I say that? My wife.
No, you didn't.
She would probably say that.
No, that's the only thing you got going on is flop. But anyway, does it affect your singing?
No, I hope not.
No.
I hope not.
Have you sung since your floppy eye syndrome?
As a matter of fact, I did.
You're good.
I did.
Now,
I did a show one night.
You
and
did?
I actually, yeah.
In the glasses?
Yes.
Without the glasses? No.
I was cool.
It is. It's a very cool look. It's a very cool look. But everyone that knows Earl Turner knows how cool you are. You really do kill the audience. I've been watching you since I'm in my early 20s, which, according to Scott, is 10 years ago.
Right,
and
exactly.
I remember I worked in another band, I couldn't even get in the lounge because it would be flowing outside into the casino. Everyone trying to look and hear, and the place was bouncing on their feet. because you're a high energy performer. Who influenced you, and how did you develop your show into that kind of bringing the audience into a frenzy like that?
Two people, James Brown, Jackie Wilson.
Ah,
yeah,
that makes sense.
Those two, actually, because there were things that they couldn't do. Like Jackie Wilson, they had to actually stop him from throwing his cufflinks off the stage at the Apollo, because I mean they're
you mean you throw them out like the
game
ball?
Yeah. Oh yeah. You know, Elvis had the scarves. You know, Jackie Wilson had the cufflinks, and I don't know what James Brown had, but you know.
his sweat would go travel.
But yeah, so those guys actually were my big influences. But then I grew up in the Midwest, and I loved everybody from the Beatles to Tom Jones to everybody in between.
Right.
But from a stage performance aspect, it's really the guys who captivated you with their energy, with their moves, with their excitement.
Right.
And that's where I come from. I'm just old school.
High energy, and you're like, I'm hosting this thing, and I'm throwing this party, and you're going to have a good time.
That's right.
And both of them are big time dance, really serious dance. Yeah. Did you spend hours in front of the mirror like I did?
No, actually, my brothers and sisters made fun of me.
They did?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Oh, please. I couldn't dance at all. I think that the dancing the dancing actually came from nervousness. Actually, I thought. Right. And besides that, I was working, when I first started as a headliner, I was working in a country western bar in Shreveport, Louisiana. So I felt like if I kept moving, they couldn't really get a bead on me, you know what I'm saying? Because it was a dangerous time. I didn't have any chicken wire or anything like that, so I thought, you know what? I'll keep this thing moving, They won't be able to catch me, if I have to break bad.
Now, that's funny, but there's some serious to that. And when we come back from the break, I want you to talk seriously about some of those challenges that you went through, just simply because of who you are and what you look like and the time that you came up in.
Yeah.
So we'll be back with handsome floppy eyelid syndrome, Mr. Earl Turner, right after this on Talktails. Get funky now.
Believes that after about 3 minutes, you'll tune out. Most Vegas media companies think if it doesn't jiggle, you won't tune in. At the Vegas Video Network, we think both are wrong. The Vegas Video Network is the first and only live online broadcast network that specializes in insider news and expert views about Vegas. We combine great storytelling with the ability to watch when and where you want on your computer, mobile device, or television. Discover the real Las Vegas. Visit VegasVideoNetwork.com.
Welcome back to Talktails. I'm Kelly Clinton, and I'm your host. And I'm getting my groove on with Earl Turner here.
That's what I'm saying. The band is jamming.
That people can live chat.
That's like this?
They can come, and they can actually come onto the network and talk to you. You can ask Earl Turner some questions if you like, or you can email us at Talktails. I'll tell you more about that in a little bit, because we got Earl Turner right here.
Hello.
And, hey, so, funky now. You talked about about moving around like target practice and some of the places you played when you were a younger man.
Yeah.
What are you talking about, actually?
Well, the time that I was coming up performing, I was very much in transition. And because of the fact that I was working where I was working in the South, I had come from a rhythm and blues show band. And I didn't actually know that I was being hired to work with a country western band. They kind of left that out. They said, "Would you like to come over and sing with our band?" And they offered something that I couldn't really turn down. They offered to pay me, so I went.
The goal.
I went, but I had no idea that it was actually a country western bar,
like really
so to speak.
Country western band.
Yeah, but it was an interesting time because country was then it was a little less traditional, more along it was Mickey Gilley, it was
Urban
Kenny
Cowboy
Rogers,
time.
it was the Urban Cowboy time.
It was cool.
So it was kind of cool. So I could do that. I could do that. And that's what I did. I went in and I was singing Kenny Rogers and I was singing.
And Hey Bartender and all those cool tunes.
Oh, yeah. Oh, and how do you drink? And I was right there, hey, come on, clap on the beat,
Hey, on the beat. Let's try something new, people.
But at the same time, you know, my heart was in rhythm and blues.
Right.
And it was in, you know, it was in Commodores, and it was in, you know, all that kind of thing. And so I wanted to interject that music into this band.
Right.
Which turned out to be a good thing, because people say, well, have you seen that colored guy out there?
Oh, no.
Oh, please.
Oh, no.
Have you seen that colored guy out there with that band? You got to go see, you know, you got to go see it. You know, and it turned out to be a really good thing, because I remember introducing for people to dance 3 Times a Lady, because it was in sort of a 3/4 time, a 3 time, as a waltz, just to get people up on the dance floor, because they hadn't heard it.
Right.
You know, they weren't listening to that stuff. And,
that's
yeah.
So
I mean,
you adapted. You adapted, and you kind of brought something new to what was not happening there.
And it turned out to be like the spot.
Yeah.
You know, because they were getting everything from the traditional country music that they liked, to the crossover country, to the R&B. You know, we did it all. It eventually evolved into that.
So then you were there for a long time. When did you start traveling and moving around the country?
I was there for a couple of years, and then I started traveling in 1982. Started traveling around, and eventually wound up in Las Vegas. Not by my design. It just actually was just something that I think was really supposed to happen.
But like you're saying that you got a gig, and so you were just doing it like another gig?
Oh, doing nightclubs all over the country. And eventually that evolved into going to Atlantic City, where I first heard of people like Clint Holmes, and then traveling, you know, to Southern Nevada, and winding up eventually coming to Las Vegas. And you were,
like you said, the lounges were like, I don't know if you did say this, I might have said this, but the lounges were like mini showrooms still.
Oh, please.
You know, then eventually they became in a corner somewhere, and it became, keep it down a little lower, a little lower, a little lower. No, we can still hear you.
Exactly.
But before that,
before that, with the Don Rickles.
Yeah.
Gladys Knight and the Pips even played lounges. I mean, everyone went to the lounges because that's where the up-and-coming talent was. And that was where some of the best talent was.
It was like they were already successful, but a springboard. They were headliners, really.
Absolutely, in their own right.
Yes.
And it was a great time. It was a really great time in Las Vegas. I was fortunate enough to come here when, you know, there was a sense of community, when it was much smaller, it was maybe 500,000 people, when you could literally go from one end of the strip to the other on a Saturday night.
Yeah,
you know,
seriously.
And see different groups and different shows. And
you get caught on the strip now. And
forget about it. It was all I could do to get here. So, yeah, it was a different time. But Las Vegas was, I mean, it was all about family, and you could still do deals on a handshake.
Yes,
you know?
Yes.
And they respected what you did, and they treated it with respect.
Entertainers were revered. They were treated really well. And when we come back, I kind of want to remind you about when I first met you. And he was scary. He wasn't dangerous, but he was such a pro. And we were at the Excalibur, and you're just selling out the room, and then we'd come on after. And I remember thinking, oh, he's just focused on what he's doing. And you kind of looked me up and down, and you went, give me a... yeah. And then you saw us perform. I was with Cedro's Armada, and then I'll tell you what he said after this. And we'll hear more about what Earl's doing today, the main showrooms and cruises and all kinds of stuff on Talktails. And also, I want you to know that you influenced how I dress. Not right now, because you don't wear dresses. But after this, find out what the heck I'm talking about.
This is David Ivey from Pub Crawl. It's funny, because it's David from... You should just leave it on. Hi, I'm David Ivey from Pub Crawl, and you're watching the Vegas Video Network. And scene.
Welcome back to Talktails. My name is Kelly Clinton, and here is Earl Turner, one of the greatest entertainers ever. So I met you. We can do the whole thing. Yeah. There's people out there.
There are people. They are alive.
They are really alive,
which
too.
Is that's the ultimate, actually.
It really would be a lot
different. Some
different.
of the dead audiences that we've worked in front of.
Seriously, a few real dead ones.
Really
like literally no pulse. But anyway, so I met you, and I just remember you were just you are the consummate performer. And I remember I knew a girl, Jamie, who worked with you, and she was like, had a bunch of dresses in her hand. She said, I got to show Earl and see if, because she was singing with you, and you kind of you had a high standard, you still do.
Absolutely.
And so I just remember I wore like a tuxedo with tails, and that was about the only time you spoke to me. You go, yeah, you got it going on with that red tuxedo with tails. Look good. You got good performer. And that was about it. Yeah. But I remember thinking you were scary, but you're a warm, fuzzy teddy bear.
Thank you. Yeah, you know what, and we've lost some of that. I think that, well, you know, there are a lot of things that we've lost in terms of recognizing the shoulders on which we stand. Obviously, James Brown used to fine you if your shoes weren't shined.
Oh, really? He would fine you?
$50. If your shoes were not shined, absolutely.
Did you do that with your band? Did you do that with your people?
No, because I made...
They were scared.
Well, you know what, actually, I would make sure, like the wardrobe and everything, I took care of that. So I would make sure. And at the time that we met, I mean, I was the sound person. I was the light person. I was...
I think your wife was even doing the lights sometimes.
Absolutely, absolutely. So we kept it all in the family, but it was, you know, it's about the image that you represent when you come out. You know, you can still go and watch somebody like Diana Ross, and you know that's a star.
That's right.
I remember seeing Natalie Cole do a show with David Foster here in Las Vegas, and she walked out and she stood, and she was obviously just glamorous. Yes. She stood and she placed her hand on her leg, and it never moved. And she just tore it up. You know?
Yeah.
There is something in it's old school professionalism. There's a persona. There's something that you feel. You know that you've stepped into a room with class.
That's right.
You know that you know that you're representing something.
Well, that's that's what I saw all those years, and all the people in Las Vegas who got to see you perform, and then you moved into the showroom. Right, you moved to the big stage because they couldn't hold all these people in there.
Well,
that was the Rio, right?
That was the Rio, actually. And I actually talked the at that time Harris into actually supporting me in doing that, into making that next step, because you know, I really believed that it was possible.
Right.
And you know, obviously when people are trying to protect you and they're trying to look out for your best interests, but oftentimes they do that by saying what you can't do.
Exactly.
Instead of what you can do. And fortunately for me, I had a lot of people around me that were saying, you know what, you need to give it a shot. You need to, you know, the worst they can say is no.
Exactly.
And
nothing to lose.
It happened. Exactly. You have nothing to lose. So I went to them and we talked about it and at length, and they gave me a shot. And then, you know, one thing led to another. I wound up with my own theater in New Orleans, came back here after the fact, and we're still here.
New Orleans was a big deal, though. I know I'm going overtime a little bit. I really want to go overtime with Earl because I want to hear him sing later, too. But in New Orleans, the hurricane, Katrina, hit right on your birthday.
Oh, my birthday. Yeah, actually, the last hurricane hit again on my birthday.
On your birthday. Yeah. What do you feel responsible? That was so
God
wrong.
And I had a talk, and I said, look, God, you know, if you really want to impress these people, bring the hurricane back again on my birthday.
I need a bigger response to my show.
Yeah.
Boom. No, but it was a horrible, tragic thing, and it affected so many people, and it affected your life,
absolutely.
And you ended up back here with us.
Right. Exactly. Yeah, it was, you know, things happen. And I don't, you know, oftentimes we don't know why, but you go to see the fight to see who's going to get up. You know, it's not about to see who gets hit. It's about seeing who gets up. And in this business, you have to learn how to get up. Now, that's the main thing. Regardless what happens to you, you got to get up.
You got to be a warrior.
Oh yeah, you got to continue. And I learned that by watching other people who do it. You know, every day. They get up,
absolutely.
whether they're in show business or not. They get up.
Illness, all kinds of things get in your way.
It's remarkable.
It's a roller coaster.
Yeah, but it's remarkable, the testimony to the human spirit.
The resilience.
How much we can do when we just get up.
Can you get up, but don't get up because you're in a chair and sing a little bit for us right now?
I can get up, get
Come
down.
On. This is Mr. Earl Turner getting funky.
But I have to do something with a little soul. See, because my grandmother was my first fan, I remember her very well. Grandma's hands clapped in church on Sunday morning. Help me out. Grandma's hands played the tambourine so well. Grandma's hands used to issue out a warning. She said, baby, don't you run so fast. Might be fall on a piece of glass. Might be some snakes there in that grass. Grandma's hands. And I get a little feeling, y'all. Makes me wanna sing. Come on with me, Kelly, sing. Grandma's hands soothe the local unwed mother. Grandma's hands used to ache sometimes and swell. Grandma's hands. They used to lift her face and tell her. She said, baby, Grandma understands that you really love that man. Put yourself in Jesus' hands.
Ooh.
Grandma's hands. Everybody clap your hands for you.
Thank you, Earl Turner.
Thank you, Kelly Clinton.
So good.
So glad to be here. Yeah, I want to come back again sometime.
You would.
You know that I will when I can, and I'll bring my floppy eye with me.
Grandma gave me floppy eyelid syndrome.
Oh, watch yourself now, girlfriend. Tell the truth, need to call a doctor. All this gonna be all on the web.
On the web now.
Oh, sometimes might as well fade to black.
Fade,
I'm already there. Lord have mercy. Watch yourself.